Our one book for social justice was I Am Malala. And books like this, it's important for us to read because it brings out so many topics that need to be discussed that sometimes we just don't think to talk about.
Malala is from Pakistan. She had a pretty big family. They are followers of Islam. And the dad, he actually owns 2 schools, and one's a girls' school, an all-girls school, and one's an all-boys school. Malala herself attends the all-girls school that her dad runs. Malala was grateful enough to be allowed to go to school by her dad, and so she went, and then the Taliban came in and took control of Pakistan through bombs and such, and Malala was really not supposed to be going to school anymore, but she kept going because she believed education was a right, and eventually she got shot for it, and her friends started dropping out of school. They were all taken out of school because they were afraid of the threats from the Taliban. And yeah, she just took action at a very young age, and she was shot at 15.
The story of Malala is a young girl seeking education, and her devotion or kind of ambition to get this education and being shot for it just proves how important it is and how a lot of us now are taking it for granted. Malala is the proof that education is worth it. She has gone through a lot of hardship to get that education. Meanwhile, a lot of us are taking it for granted. Going to school has become a very negative thing in our lives, when other people are really going through a lot to get the same privilege that we have been offered.
I think what she did was very brave. Her story inspired a lot of people in countries, a lot of women especially in countries. She, with like her foundation obviously, with just speaking out, has probably opened a lot of conversation about women's rights in those regions, and opened opportunities for women in these regions.
But we're not doing a good job at helping other countries help women get education, because in many countries girls just can't go because of the culture or religion or just people's mindset, and that's not okay, because we can't force countries to change their culture, but I feel like everyone should have a choice and be able to go to school if they want to. Just like Malala, she couldn't go even though she wanted to, and that's not okay. And we can help by donating to organization or just educating people. When someone is 15-year-old and is ready, not necessarily to get shot, but is expecting that something bad is going to happen to them, it means that obviously there's a real problem and they're fighting for a real cause. Like, you cannot say that there is no sexism anymore if little children in the world are ready to get shot to fight for their rights, because to me that's a proof that obviously something's wrong. And I feel like if she could do it, then so can we, but we're just so used to having the greatest life that we don't think we can, because it just seems so unreal. But I believe that everyone has the guts inside.
My experience moving from Morocco to the United States of America has been really, or has helped me really grow as a person. I have grown for 5 months more than I did for the past 17 years. I wanted to be a young woman making an impact. I wanted to be a symbol of peace and a symbol of ability to interact with people from different backgrounds, from different races, ethnicities, and also I wanted to be a proof that Muslim people have nothing to do with terrorism. So, and my experience so far has been very nourishing. I have been able to meet people from all over the world, and this experience has been the best so far in my life. This is why I believe that cutting this diversity is going to affect young people's lives negatively more than it will positively. When I came here, I wanted to be an ambassador of my country.
The Muslim ban brings out so much anger in me. For America to go against all the morals and the values it has established since its founding is really disheartening, because we were founded upon immigrants, and that's just like a basic argument. But second of all, this nation has continually been fueled by immigrants.
President Donald Trump makes people like me living in the United States of America feel unsafe. Most immigrants or people living here came here because this is supposed to be a place for diversity and a place for safety. But the idea of banning Muslim people or banning Latinos just goes against this perspective that most people in the world have.
What we can do to lessen Islamophobia is really education, educating other people, because even with like microaggressions that people throw about Muslims and all of these things perpetuated in our society, I think that we can just honestly there, like at that point, just be like, just educate. Say not all Muslims are terrorists or even radicals, because there are like 1 billion Muslims in the world. So
The generations before us maybe should be concerned, but in a good way, about our generation, because we're not scared to talk about issues. We have social media, which means that I can talk whenever I want to. You don't know the people, they have many different backgrounds, many different cultures, many different history, many different religions, and you can just talk to everyone in the world. And when everyone is united, it's famous that we're just stronger. And our generation has been through a lot, like the United States election and the issues that it brought up. So we're not scared to talk about things. We're not scared to just say what things are and tell them the way they are and bring up issues and fight.
Together, I believe we can make an impact and be an example. Even though we are youth, we are young, we can be an example to all people.
Reading this book has prompted us to talk about important issues such as Islamophobia and the education system and just so many things that we may not think to talk about very often. It's important that topics like this are brought to the light for us to discuss, because if we don't discuss it, then it'll never get fixed. Our generation is a generation that is really starting to focus on these important social topics, and that's really good because we are going to be the ones to change things. All of this has to start with us. We're the generation who has to make an impact, and I think that we're already starting to do that. These topics may not always be easy to talk about, but it's not something that we should be quiet about either. Because they're such hard topics to talk about is the reason we should talk about them. We want to try to make a difference, make a change, make our world a better place. And even though that may sound cliche, it is important because we have to start somewhere. And we have to start by discussing. It's important to take action, but action has to start with something. And I think that starts with discussions like this, where we, even though we're young, we're 16 or 17, we still have important opinions about these things that we're educated on. It's important to get educated on these things, have knowledge about all of them, to become a well-rounded person and to make the world a more unified place.
احنا يا الشباب ديال اليوم 16 عام 17 عام 18 عام قادين نبدلوا الوضع ديال بلادنا، الوضع ديال العالم ديالنا حاليا. من ديما وحنا كنسمعوا هاد السوجي ما خاصكش تهضر عليه، هاد السوجي حساس، هاد السوجي غادي يجبد لك صداع الا هضرتي عليه. ولكن علاش هاد لي سوجي هما اللي خاصنا نهضروا عليهم؟ حيت هما اللي مهمين.
We are young, we are educated, we are united, we appreciate diversity, we strive for greatness. We are the next generation, and we will not stand for injustice.